Okay, you know the feeling. You're just driving, everything's fine, and then, boom, that little check engine light pops on, and your heart sinks just a little bit. Well, today, we're going to take the mystery out of one of the most common reasons that light shows up. Right? The dreaded check engine light. It's the universal symbol for, well, this is going to be a headache. It could mean anything from you didn't tighten your gas cap to something much, much worse. But what if we could just strip away some of that anxiety?
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We are zeroing in on one specific diagnostic trouble code, P0451. By the time we're done here, you're going to know what it means, what's probably causing it, and exactly how you can start to figure out the fix.
So, you hook up a scanner and it spits out P0451. Now, before you start worrying about a huge repair bill, let's look at the clues your car is actually giving you. Because believe it or not, the biggest clue is what you're probably not noticing at all.
And here it is, our first big piece of the puzzle. With a P0451 code, the only thing you'll probably notice is the light itself. The car, it's going to drive just fine. No sputtering, no stalling. You might, maybe, notice the pump clicking off a bunch when you try to get gas, or, in rare cases, catch a faint whiff of fuel. But the actual performance of the car, totally normal. And that tells us a whole lot.
To really get what this code is about, we need to meet the system it's connected to. Just think of it like your car has its own built-in fume catcher.
It's called the Evaporative Emission System, or EVAP for short. And its entire job, really, is to be good for the environment. It captures all those gasoline vapors from your fuel tank before they can leak out into the air we breathe. It's this whole sealed system designed to trap them and reuse them.
So picture the life of a gas fume, right? First, these vapors build up in your gas tank. They travel through some lines to a thing called a charcoal canister. Think of it like a holding tank, where they get absorbed. Then when your engine's running and the time is right, a little valve opens up, and the engine vacuum just sucks those fumes right into the engine to get burned off with the rest of the fuel. Pretty smart, huh?
So, how does the car's computer know that this whole fume-catching system is actually working and not leaking? Well, it has a watchdog. It's called the Fuel Tank Pressure Sensor, or FTP sensor. Its one and only job is to constantly measure the pressure inside that sealed system. It's always reporting back, telling the computer, yep, everything's sealed up tight. And that little guy is the key to our code.
All right, so now we know who the watchdog is. Let's talk about what happens when its reports just don't add up. It is time to decode P0451. Okay, the official fancy definition is Evaporative Emission System Pressure Sensor / Switch Range Performance. The two words to focus on here are range and performance. This isn't the computer saying there's a leak. No. It's the computer saying, hey, the signal I'm getting from that pressure sensor is just plain weird. The reading might be stuck at one number, or it might be jumping all over the place. It's basically illogical.
Now, this is a really important difference. A loose gas cap will usually give you a code like P0455, which means large leak. P0451 is different. Think of it like this. P0455 is a security guard yelling, "The door is wide open." That's a clear physical problem. But P0451, that's the same security guard handing you a report written in gibberish. The door might be perfectly fine, but the report about the door is scrambled. That tells us the problem is probably with the guard, the sensor, or the walkie-talkie it's using.
Okay, so if our sensor is the prime suspect for filing this bogus report, what could be causing it to act so strangely? Let's go ahead and line up the usual suspects.
All right, number one on our most wanted list, and the cause like 9 times out of 10, is the fuel tank pressure sensor itself. It's just gone bad. It happens. Next up, you got to check its connection to the car, the wiring. Any corrosion or damage there can mess up the signal. It's also possible that a little hose going to the sensor is clogged up with dirt or charcoal bits, and then way down the list of possibilities, you have other parts of the system or, and this is super rare, the car's main computer itself.
And this really hammers it home. The code is almost always pointing to a problem with the reading of the pressure, not an actual physical leak. So, when we start our investigation, we need to go straight to the source of that reading, the sensor. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's talk about what to actually do. Here is your step-by-step game plan for hunting down the real cause of that P0451 code.
First things first, always check for other codes. They can be clues. Next, just use your eyes. Find the sensor. It's usually on or near the fuel tank, and look at it. Does the wiring look chewed up? Is the connector all green and corroded? Now the real detective work begins if you have a scan tool that can show live data.
You can actually watch the sensor's reading. Is it changing smoothly as the pressure changes, or is it stuck? If you see it jumping around like crazy, well, you're getting very warm.
And for those of you who like to get your hands dirty, here's a real pro tip. If you unplug the sensor and test the electrical connector with a multimeter, you should be looking for a steady 5-volt signal coming from the computer. If you don't have that 5 volts, or you can't find a good ground connection, then your problem isn't the sensor, it's the wiring leading to it.
Now listen up, because this part is absolutely critical. After you replace a part or fix a wire, you have to clear the code with your scanner. But you are not done yet. You then have to go for a specific kind of drive, a drive cycle, to let the computer run all its self-tests again. Only after it passes that EVAP system test will it confirm the fix is good and keep that annoying light off for good.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the deal with P0451? It's really not about a scary leak. It's about a confused messenger. For a lot of people, swapping out a sensor is a totally doable weekend project. But you know what? Even if you take it to a professional, you now walk in armed with knowledge. You know what they're looking for. That little light isn't a total mystery anymore. It's just the first clue in a puzzle you now know how to solve.